Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen Wassalatu wassalamu ala Rasulihil Kareem Amma ba'adu fa'a'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Assalamu alaikum dear students. This is Wasim Akram, your teacher of Islamiyat, and I hope you all are pretty fine and you are preparing yourselves for the upcoming exams of midterm. And we have arranged this series of lectures just to revise the topics that you are going to face or to attempt in your upcoming exams. So let's look at the summary of today's lecture. Inshallah, in today's lecture we will revise the topics and the events of ninth, 10th, and 11th years of Hijrat. And in the ninth year, the most prominent event is Tabuk expedition. In the 10th year, there are more than one things that we are going to cover. One among them is farewell pilgrimage. Second is farewell sermon, that is commonly known as khutbah hajjatul wida, and along with that we'll learn and revise about the death of the Holy Prophet, peace be upon him. So let's start with ninth year of Hijrat, Tabuk expedition. And about the Tabuk expedition, we learned that the Holy Prophet, peace be upon him, got to know about this thing that the Roman Emperor, under his command, was preparing a pretty huge army to attack the Muslim state. And in response to that, the Holy Prophet, peace be upon him, ordered his companions to get ready to defend the Muslim state as well as to deal with the enemy properly. The situation wasn't favorable for the Muslims because of famine in the Hijaz, and as we all know what famine does, there was, you know, a kind of extreme scarcity of food and water. And this is why, in these tough situations, the Muslims tried and got success to defend their religion and the state. And this is the reason that expedition is called Expedition of Straightness. And how the Holy Prophet, peace upon him, dealt with this situation, that was he started with making an appeal for donations. And on the part of the companions of the Holy Prophet, peace upon him, amazing examples were set. Astonishing love and affection towards the religion as well as towards the Prophet was expressed by the companions. Some exemplary events should be mentioned here, and I'd like to ask all of you as well that do mention these points in your answers clearly and with accuracy, because there were a number of companions of the Holy Prophet, peace upon him, who contributed to support this expedition and to support the Muslim army. As we can learn that Hazrat Usman radiallahu ta'ala anhu contributed with 1,000 gold dinars, and Hazrat Umar radiallahu ta'ala anhu donated half of his wealth. It's a pretty important thing to understand about the sacrifices of the companions, and you must explain this thing if you are asked a question about the Tabuk expedition. Hazrat Abu Bakr Siddiq radiallahu ta'ala anhu presented whatever he had, even he looked for the needles and he presented everything to the Holy Prophet, peace upon him, just to defend the religion and the Muslim state. What happened next? Muslim women did not, remain at the back. They also moved forward and they donated their ornaments that they keep pretty dear to themselves. And on the part of hypocrites, they did not support as usual, and they had their well crafted excuses. And eventually, after collecting all of the donations and after preparing the army, Holy Prophet, peace upon him, commanded the army of 30,000 men and women, and they encamped at the place of Tabuk. And when the enemy saw this huge army, which was so organized and they were committed to die for the religion as well, the army of the enemy, they got demoralized. They were unable to sustain in front of the steadfast conduct and behavior of the Muslim army. And eventually, Muslims got victory. The Holy Prophet, peace be upon him, stayed there for 20 days. Many tribes visited the Prophet after victory of the Muslims, and the Tabuk expedition is considered the last one expedition that Holy Prophet, peace be upon him, participated personally. There are no battles or expeditions in which the Holy Prophet, peace be upon him, personally participated. And about this expedition, these were some of the most important facts that you must revise, and you must mention them in your answers if you are asked a question about the book. Now, after the topic of the book, let's look at 10th year of Hijrat. And the 10th year is also known as the year of deputations, and in Arabic that is called Amul Wafd, because a lot of tribes, they embraced Islam, and their deputations, the deputations of the tribes, they visited the Holy Prophet, peace be upon him, and they embraced Islam. And the next point that we are going to revise is the farewell pilgrimage. The Holy Prophet, peace be upon him, decided, and he sent invitations to a lot of companions around the Arab. And on 25th of Zikad, the Holy Prophet, peace be upon him, left for Mecca. And in his company, there were around 140,000 companions and all of the wives of the Holy Prophet, peace be upon him. And after a few days, on 4th of the next month, the month of Zulhijjah, they all reached Makkah and they performed the pilgrimage. After the performance of the pilgrimage, the Holy Prophet, peace be upon him, delivered the well known farewell sermon that is also called Khutbah Hijjatul Wida. And this khutbah was given in the plain of Arafat near the Jabal Rahmat, Mount of Mercy. And I'm repeating these terms because I want you all to remember them, memorize them, and when you are attempting your exam, you may easily put them on the paper, because this topic that we are covering at this time, this is one of the most important topics. 10th year and farewell sermon and farewell pilgrimage, these are the most important topics out of the Hijri life. Okay, now let's get back to our topic of farewell sermon. This sermon was, multidimensional, and it has a lot of things that we can learn from, and it is considered as a highly valuable code of etiquettes and laws for us. because in this sermon we were taught how to treat women, how to treat slaves, and how to treat children. Although Islam is a complete code of life, but this sermon explained these things of Islam clearly, and along with this, fulfillment of daily life obligations as well as payment of zakat, fasting in the month of Ramadan, and performance of pilgrimage, etc. These all things were clearly explained, and we all were, the people who were present there, they were given this responsibility that they had to transfer the message towards the others. And the Quran in the chapter 5 verse 3 quotes and calls the day of farewell pilgrimage and farewell sermon the day of perfection of our religion. And why? Because this, as I told you earlier, that this sermon has multi dimension and multidimensional importance, and this is why this is also called first universal charter of human rights. Why? It it professed and it declared this thing that whether we are from the subcontinent or we are from the Arab, when you are a Muslim, you are equal to everyone else in the world. The principle of equality between human beings was also explained in this sermon, and Holy Prophet, peace upon him, explained this thing as well, that sovereignty, the power to rule, lies with the Almighty Allah only, because Islam is a religion, it does not confer the right of ruling to a human being at all. Yes, the human beings rule the world or a piece of land, but they do so under the command of the Almighty Allah. Okay? And some other things were also there that I want you people to look at and revise, because I just wanted to let you have an overview of all of these things. And in the 11th year of Hijrat, we had just one topic to look at, that was the illness and death of the Holy Prophet, peace be upon him. And I would like to complete this thing, that you just need to remember that Holy Prophet, peace be upon him, died in the house of Hazrat Aisha Siddiqa radiallahu ta'ala anha. And this leads me to end today's lecture. And I just wanted to give you a piece of advice, that as you've received your date sheet and your syllabus, do revise all of the topics of the first term exams, and think of this thing as well, that like you've covered the topic of farewell sermon, you may be asked just to describe the principle of equality discussed and explained in this farewell sermon. So you have to read clearly and focused, and along with that, if you find any difficulties or problems, you can ask questions in the Google Classroom as well. We all teachers are there to help you out for anything that you need to have help with. Okay, thank you so much for your attention and cooperation. Inshallah, we'll see you very soon. Assalamu alaikum. Allah Hafiz.